Travel Journey Nest Egg. I just wanted to take a few minutes with you to help you understand how I do what I do and kind of share with you my personal travel savings journey and how I got started in this whole thing. So just to let you know, I started this process probably sometime around 1990. And it was when we were getting ready or planning for our first family reunion trip. In that trip, I had two daughters. I was married and I was working a full-time job. But at that time, I knew that the full-time job that I was working wasn't going to be enough money to do all of the things that I wanted to do on the trip. I wanted to go to Disney World, Disneyland. I wanted to go to Vegas and do all the stuff that people do when they go out to California. So what I did for that particular trip is I actually went to our local mall and started working part-time for a retail store. And all of that money that I earned working that part-time job went towards that trip. And then a few years later, my daughter actually had a chance to go to Washington, D.C. on a class trip. And the good thing about that class trip was the school had already licensed, or I would say engaged with a travel agent who set up all of the travel for us. You know, they set up all the excursions that the students would go on. They set up the airfare, the hotel. They made all of the arrangements, and they packaged it into one trip that we as parents could pay on in, monthly installments or as we wanted to based on how we got paid. The other nice thing about that trip was the school had several fundraisers that we could participate in. And all of the money earned for those fundraisers could go towards that trip as well. So after that trip, after that class trip, several years later, I was in the process of getting a divorce, and I wanted to have a coming out party, so to speak, with my girls. And I wanted to take them to Florida for a girls' trip. And so luckily, I found a resort that was very close to all of the things that we wanted to visit: Disney World, Universal Studios, Daytona Beach, etc. And the resort, I could actually reserve our room and pay later. I didn't have to pay immediately. The nice thing about reserving your hotel room and any other things that you can reserve in advance is that allows you to set your total cost. You know what your costs are up front, which helps you to budget a lot better. The other thing that I did was I did some bargain comparison shopping, bargain hunting, if you will, to find out how much the tickets were going to be for all the different parks at Disney World, how much the tickets were going to be for Universal Studios, and any other excursions that we wanted to go on. So doing that kind of comparison shopping helped me to determine what the highest end of the cost would be versus the lowest end of the cost. And so I knew that I would have to put X number of dollars towards that trip for all of the excursions that we wanted to do. The other thing that I did, which I thought was very helpful, was to establish a separate savings account for my travel, because any extra money that I got, like bonuses or raises or money for birthdays or anything like that, could go in that savings, and I knew that it was specifically earmarked for that particular vacation. And then the other thing that I thought was pretty cool was so that my girls wouldn't think that I was the only one paying for the trip and that they would have some accountability for the trip as well, is I made them during the week go out and collect pop cans because we had at that time, we had a recycling bank where you could just go and put all the cans that you had collected in this recycling bank, and you would immediately get the money for those cans. And so like I said, during the week, they would collect all these cans, and every Saturday we would go in and cash in our pop cans for our little recycling money, and all of that money went into the bank account as well. So I started, like I said, my travel planning and budgeting journey very early in life. One, because I knew I didn't make enough money on my regular full-time job at that time. And I really wanted to enjoy myself on vacation because I was only able at that time to go on 1 or 2 vacations per year. So I just want to remind you that I am not a professional travel agent or a professional financial planner. I just love going on vacation. And so what I'd like you to do is I'd like to invite you to come on this journey with me and allow me to share my experiences and my tips and tricks for, budgeting and planning for travel in hopes that you too will become a world traveler and know how to plan and budget for your travel and not come back home broke because you spent more than what you had planned for, or things costed more than you had expected. So in my next session with you, I will start our journey together by talking about how I set up my travel plan. Hope to see you there. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.